Hello and welcome to this game review. In this one, the play could have been improved significantly if only more time was used. And even though this is a 15 plus 10 game, both sides were playing as if it was a bullet game, which we should avoid. So it started quite normally, bishop c4. Black plays g6, which violates a bit of the opening principles. This pawn move is completely unnecessary. If black wants to develop the bishop, he can just do it like this and then castle as fast as possible. Instead, after g6, now black is losing quite a bit of time, and white can develop a piece with tempo, now attacking the pawn on e5, and now already white has three pieces against one developed. After, for example, knight c6, knight g5 is already an issue, because this move g6 is not very useful. Instead d3 and f4, so this is kind of white's game plan, knight c6. Now white takes on e5, but there's not really any reason to help our opponent's pieces towards the game. Now the bishop on c4 is attacked, and we shouldn't really give up this bishop while also ruining our structure. We are here forced to move the bishop away and lose some time. Instead knight f3, but now after knight takes c4, white is not really any better. Black is probably a bit better because he has the bishop pair as well as the better pawn structure. Especially this pawn on d6 is very weak and isolated, which means he does not have any friends to defend him on the side. Now d6 castles, and the black also finishes his development quite nicely, and he plays knight g4, starting to use the weak square on e5, also something that white lost because of his isolated pawn on e4. Queen d2, rook f8, and h3 is a nice move. And here black decides to give up the bishop on g7 for the knight on c3, and generally this fianchettoed bishop is extremely important for black, and he should not give it up, because now the king really likes defenders, and in this game this was very appropriately punished. So knight e5, and now white took this, and now white took on e5 in an instant, but simply there were no blunder checks here by white. White is generally better because of the weak squares around black's king, and slowly but surely white should be able to put his queen and bishop in good positions and checkmate this king. If needed, the rook can also use the f-file. So this is why white is a lot better. But he or she cannot take on e5 because of the forcing move and capture of bishop takes c4, which is now a discovered attack on the queen and also the rook, after which white will lose an exchange. After queen f6, black really had to address the threat of bishop h6 with rook e6 first, and after the queen moves, black can take this rook on f1. Instead, black took here, and now with 15 minutes on the clock, white only used a couple of seconds and played the move rook takes f1, though instead white could have won the game with the move bishop h6, after which there is a threat of queen g7 checkmate, and there is simply not that much to do for black. Black has to give up the queen, give up the pawn, and still white is a queen up. So instead rook takes f1 happened very quickly, and this is inexcusable in a 15 plus 10 game. We really have to think a little bit more if we want our chess to improve. And after queen e7, and black is now losing a rook in one move, which is very strange. Instead, black could have just taken here, and now this is not checkmate anymore because queen d4 with a check which exchanges the queens. Instead, queen e7, and white plays this move queen a1 also very quickly, which just gives up a bishop in one move. Instead, we should have checked what happens if we take the queen. So sure, we are an exchange down at the moment, so generally we do not want to exchange pieces, but here we are winning a rook because the queen is attacked twice and defended once. So after this, we are now a bishop up for nothing, and the game should end in an easy win. Instead, queen e1 just gives up the bishop, and nothing really happened as black is now a rook ahead, and the queens are also exchanged. So there's not really much to analyze in the thought process of this game, apart from it being a very quick game, and surely white would have been able to play a lot better had they fought for at least a few minutes more than what happened in the game.